Have you ever paused at the edge of a decision, heart racing, unsure whether to leap or retreat? What if the voice holding you back isn't your instinct, but your fear wearing a mask? And what if, instead of fighting that fear, you could understand it, dismantle it, and turn it into fuel for your growth? That's where Stoicism steps in, not as theory, but as an ancient, time-tested weapon against anxiety, hesitation, and doubt. There's a quiet voice inside all of us. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It lingers in the background when we try something new. It creeps in when we're about to speak up, take action, or stand out. That voice is fear. But fear is not always a monster. It's more often a shadow. One we let grow the longer we avoid the light. The moment we face it, name it, and examine it, we take away its power. Stoicism teaches us how. 1. Fear is internal, not external. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "Today I escaped from anxiety." Or no, I discarded it, because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. That sentence holds the essence of Stoicism. Fear is not something that attacks you from the outside. It's something born within, shaped by beliefs, expectations, and interpretations. You might think rejection causes pain, but it's really your interpretation of rejection that hurts. The Stoic doesn't waste time trying to change the world. They change how they see the world. 2. Get comfortable with discomfort. Avoiding discomfort may feel safe, but it strengthens fear. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The fear of discomfort often outweighs the discomfort itself. The Stoics embraced adversity as a way to sharpen their inner resolve. Cold showers, early wake-ups, difficult conversations, these aren't punishments. They're training. With every act of intentional hardship, your tolerance expands and fear retreats. Discomfort becomes a forge. You learn to hold steady when life shakes you. 3. Premeditate the worst, and accept it. The Stoics had a tool called premeditatio malorum visualizing the worst-case scenario. Not to scare themselves, but to prepare. What if I lose everything? The fearful mind panics. Then I'll rebuild. The Stoic replies, what if they reject me? The fearful mind wonders. Then I'll still stand tall in truth. Says the Stoic. Visualizing the worst doesn't mean expecting it. It means becoming immune to its surprise. Once you've mentally rehearsed hardship, it can no longer catch you off guard. 4. Replace fear with duty. Fear often grows in the absence of direction. When you don't know what you stand for, you're vulnerable to every worry and distraction. Marcus Aurelius never said, "What if I fail?" He asked, "What is my duty today?" That simple question grounds your thoughts and silences fear. You don't need to feel brave to take action. You just need purpose. When your actions align with your values, fear has no space to take root. 5. Kill fear with present action. Fear hates clarity. It survives in vague futures and imagined disasters. But in the present moment, right here, right now, it starves. Stoics train themselves to act in the moment. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't wait for fear to go silent. They step forward, one decision at a time, until fear is left behind. 6. Control the narrative. Fear writes stories. It tells you that you'll fail, that you're not enough, that something terrible is around the corner. And the worst part? It uses your voice. But Stoicism reminds us that we can rewrite that story. When your heart races, say, "This is my body preparing for action." When uncertainty looms, remind yourself, "This is where I become stronger." You don't deny fear, you reframe it. And when you choose the meaning, you take back control. 7. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be unbreakable. The Stoics didn't teach us to eliminate fear. They taught us to move through it. Being fearless isn't the goal. Being steady is. Being present. Being grounded. Let fear speak, but don't let it decide. Let your hands tremble, but let them act. Let your voice shake, but let it speak. That's what real strength looks like. You don't need to wait for the fear to leave. You only need to move while it's still talking. When you act, fear fades. When you stay rooted in principle, fear loses its grip. And when you rewrite your inner story with strength, clarity, and purpose, fear dies. So don't aim to be fearless. Aim to be unshakable. That's what Stoicism builds. And that's what you are becoming. In today's world, it's far too easy to confuse recognition with value. We are constantly fed a narrative that your worth is defined by how much money you make, how many followers you have, what car you drive, or how prestigious your job title is. But the Stoics saw through this illusion. They warned that basing your self-worth on external metrics is a trap. True success has nothing to do with appearances. It has everything to do with alignment between your values and your actions. It's not what others see, but what you stand for when no one is watching. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you focus on internal growth, cultivating patience, courage, humility, and self-control, you begin to build a life of substance. And when your validation comes from within, external judgment loses its grip on you. Your value is not something to be measured. It is something to be lived. Comparison breeds envy, and envy poisons growth. Comparison is not always inspiring. More often than not, it gives birth to envy. You see someone else succeed, and instead of admiration, you feel inadequacy. Instead of joy, you feel resentment. The Stoics knew that envy was corrosive. It doesn't hurt the person being envied. It hurts the one who harbors it. Envy distracts you from your path. It clouds your judgment. It turns you inward in the worst way, not for reflection, but for shame. But what if you could catch that envy and transform it? What if, instead of saying, "Why not me?" you asked, "What can I learn from this?" Use envy as a mirror. Let it reveal your unmet desires, not to condemn yourself, but to better understand your own aspirations. Turn the energy of envy into fuel for growth. The Stoics believed that every emotion, even the unpleasant ones, could be redirected. Envy becomes curiosity. Curiosity becomes action, and action leads to transformation. Compare yourself only to who you were yesterday. There is only one useful comparison in life, between who you are now and who you used to be. The Stoics emphasized progress over perfection. They didn't care whether you won or lost in the eyes of the world. They cared whether you improved. Every small step matters. Did you respond with more patience today than yesterday? Did you control your anger? Did you practice honesty when it was inconvenient? These are the questions that matter. And these are the only metrics worth tracking. Your journey is yours. It doesn't need to keep pace with anyone else's. When you measure success by internal markers, comparison becomes irrelevant. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So think thoughts that elevate you. Act in ways that strengthen your character. Let each day be your personal benchmark. Conclusion: stop comparing. Start becoming. The habit of comparison is a thief, stealing joy, clarity, and direction. The Stoics knew this well. That's why they taught us to turn inward, to detach from public applause, and to focus on what we can control. You are not here to live someone else's story. You are here to live yours. A life of virtue, a life of effort, a life that reflects your principles. So take a breath, stop measuring, stop chasing, and start becoming. Let go of the need to prove yourself to others. Show up for yourself instead. And if this message has reminded you of your power, pass it on. Share it with someone who might need it. Because in a world full of comparisons, choosing to walk your own path, that is the most radical act of strength.